You don't really know yet.
Okay, so everyone, the mic system is different, so you just need to turn your microphones on.
Should we turn them on when we're talking or turn them on now? Test. Testing.
Test, yeah.
Testing.
Hello.
Hello.
You can turn it on so you're ready to speak.
Alrighty, hello everybody. We'd like to open the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee meeting on the 2nd of February 2026 at 6:37 p.m. We're going to begin with a statement of acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge that the land we meet on today are the traditional lands of the Gawler people and that we respect their spiritual relationship with the country. We also acknowledge the Gawler people as the custodians of the Greater Adelaide region and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Gawler people today. Item 2 is attendance record. For roll call, we would like to acknowledge that Councillor Brian is in the gallery. Hello. We also have apologies from Hannah Lucas, Kelsey Suter, Mayor Nathan Shanks, Jane Hancock and Aislinn Jennings Frick. Do we have any motions to grant leave of absence? Councillor Davies?
Yeah, we have a motion for Aislinn, a leave of absence from today until 30th of June. And I'll move that.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for this motion? Lily? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We have one non-attendance, which is Darcy Hancock. Never mind, Darcy Hancock is an apology as well. Item 3 is public open forum. We'd like to invite Jess Williams from Feros Care to introduce herself and have a chat with us.
You have to press the button,
Okay, so that's on. Yeah. What's the point? Okay, so my name's Jess and I work for Feros Care. I'd like to introduce Feros Care, and we support the Gawler, Barossa Light and Adelaide Plains regions as a proud partner in the community for the National Disability Insurance Scheme. As a partner in the community, Feros Care works closely with the National Disability Insurance Agency to deliver local area coordination, which is the services that we support with. Our role is to help people with disability navigate the NDIS, access supports and build meaningful connections within their communities. We also lead initiatives that promote inclusion and strengthen community capacity. So we do work on a lot of projects, and that's why I'm here today, just to see how this meeting goes. If you do have any questions, then please reach out. But yeah, that's a little bit about us. Okay.
Thank you, Jess. Do we have any questions, just while you're still up there, from any of the committee? No? I have a question, actually. How can the youth get involved with what you're up to?
Well, Is that still on?
Yeah.
So I do have a meeting with Debbie coming up soon, just to discuss a few projects that we are having a look at working on. One of them is being a blue light, but all inclusive. So a lot of the blue light discos are very sort of section to not being inclusive. So we are working on that, and I do have a few projects that I wanted to talk to Debbie about, and then hopefully have you guys all involved so we can work on some things and see how we go.
Amazing, thank you. Any other questions? I'm sure Deb can pass on your information to anyone who's interested. Emerson?
With the blue light disco thing, considering you're saying all inclusive, does that mean you're going to increase the age thing or lower it?
Well, that's something that we have been talking about. So I think they are quite, I think at the moment, I think it's up to 17. Is that about right? I think.
Back when I was knowing about it, it was like lower.
So it was lower. Okay. So that is, I have had a conversation with, I think it's Randall and Deb. So I've had a conversation with them. We are looking at that. So because it's kind of, because the blue light itself is for younger people. So we are looking at maybe increasing that, but it's still in the work. So the project proposal that I've done has gone to my big boss, and then they get back to me, and then we work on it with the community. So it's not led by me, it'll be led by community. So there'll be a lot of work to be done with that.
Amazing. Any other questions? No? Perfect. Thank you so much. Jess? If we do have any other questions, please reach out to Deb. Deb will have Jess's contact and you can send her a message or email. Item 4 is declarations of interest. Do we have any? No. Item 5 is confirmation of minutes. The minutes from our November meeting should be on the table in front of you. Has anybody had an opportunity to have a quick look through? Bernie? Do we have any questions or discussion about the previous minutes? No? Could I please have a mover? Bernie? And a seconder, Molly. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Do we have any business arising from previous minutes? No. We have listed here a motion that item 8.4 on the agenda be brought forward to be considered as item 7.1 to allow for timely discussion on the matter, and that the meeting be temporarily suspended to allow for the presentation, which item 8.4 is the Disability Access and Inclusion Plan Development Update. Are we happy to move that forward, Cody?
Yeah. Just to, so this is 8.4, or it's on here as 7.4 because my agenda doesn't have the declaration of interest as a point, so it might be that on yours. But it's page 25 to 26, the Disability Access and Inclusion Plan Development Update, and the motion is just we move that forward so that our guest speakers can speak rather than waiting through our meeting. To speak, if we move this, we'll go straight to that one and then come back to where we were at.
Do we have any questions regarding that? Just so we're all on the same page, the guest speakers are sat over here, give them a wave. They are here to have a chat with us, so we're just moving it forward so that they don't have to sit through everything else that we're going to talk about. Amazing. Could I please have a mover? Oh, sorry, I'm the mover. Can I please have a seconder? Emerson? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll invite our lovely guest speakers up.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us here. Can I just check that you can hear me okay? Great. My name is Melissa Batt, and I'm here with my colleague Paul McAvoy, and we work for an organisation called Healthy Environs. So, thank you for having us join your meeting. We're here to discuss the Disability Access and Inclusion Planning for the town of Gawler. But before we do that, I would like to... Sorry, just want to get the slide to click. Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry, I'm just dealing with a different technology. So we would just also like to make an acknowledgement of country and acknowledge that we're meeting here today on the lands of the Gawler people, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. So Paul and I both work for an organisation called Healthy Environs. So we're a South Australian based organisation that works with largely councils but also other levels of government and some private sector areas to help build their plans and strategies that are related to community wellbeing and resilience. So whether that might be a youth plan or a strategy or a disability access and inclusion plan, we really enjoy working with the community to hear what they have to say and develop their plans. So we're tonight here to talk to you around what a DAIP is, so a Disability Access and Inclusion Plan. We want to also ask you around what your interests are and your capacity to help support the engagement activities for this really important plan. And we also really want to hear from you what the issues and the challenges and perhaps what the opportunities are that you see regarding access and inclusion here in the town of Gawler. So just to give, has anyone heard of a DAIP before? Yes, maybe, but yeah, the town of Gawler's had a DAIP previously, so you may well have seen that. But essentially, a DAIP is a plan that's built to try and remove barriers for people who live with disability, whether that be a long-term or a short-term disability, a visible or a non-visible. The DAIPs are practical and 4-year term plans, and they, once again, the purpose of them is to reduce those access and inclusion barriers, to make sure people have got equitable capacity to participate in community life. So the actual plan, council will has as a 4-year plan. Internally, the council will report on this plan every year to tell the state government how things are progressing, what difference is being made. So that's a little bit around the processes of this plan. It's related to the Disability Inclusion Act, so it is led by legislation. So there's sort of a range of areas kind of pushing us towards this direction of building a disability access and inclusion plan. With the state government, I don't want to bore you with too many details, but they've done a lot of research and have talked to the community a lot and have identified 5 main domains that where focus needs to be drawn. So we have these 5 domains. One of them is around inclusive environments and communities. One's around education and employment. The other's around personal and community support. There's a domain around health and wellbeing, and then finally the 5th domain is around safety, rights and justice. So what we then do is we look at those different domains and we work out what, from the priority areas, council is able to contribute to reduce those access and inclusion barriers. So just to give you a little bit of an understanding of sort of the structure and the kinds of things that we're talking about. There's also a range of priority population groups that have been identified. So you can see there that there's Aboriginal people with disability, people from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds, women with disability, children or young people with disability, people who identify as LGBTIAQ+, significant intellectual disabilities, and people who live in regional communities. So these priority groups are a little bit new for the state. What they've done is looked at what's been happening over the last sort of 5-6 years, and whilst lots of great stuff is happening, what they've found is that there are these priority population groups who have got a greater intersectionality of disability, so it means that often they're living with one or more thing that's creating a disadvantage or barrier in their life. So I just thought, since you're the Youth Advisory Committee, probably the children with disability would be quite young, of interest, but and there may well be other aspects too. Got a little bit of stats around your town of Gawler, but you can see of the nearly 25,000 residents, 8.7% of residents identify as having a disability. The Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander population is 2.6%, but of that smaller cohort, 12.3 are living with a disability. There's a 1.5% of children living with disability, lots and lots of people providing care, unpaid care, good volunteer rates, and some cultural diversity as well, but I guess 84% were born in Australia. So we go through, in terms of healthy environments, the process that we're supporting Town of Gawler. We're undertaking your engagement activities for this, for your Disability Access and Inclusion Plan. So my colleague Sally came and delivered an information briefing to the council members late last year. A survey has been running, which you may or may not have seen. Talk about that in a little bit more time. We're running some workshops with both community groups and staff and service providers, and obviously the evening here with you all. But really what we wanted to ask you, so I do want your feedback. I wanted to understand from you what you see as the challenges or issues within your community. What opportunities or idea for action do you have? No ideas, bad ideas. Having said that, council can't deliver on everything, but like really, it's great to get your ideas, get young people's ideas into the plan. And then we'll be really interested to know how you would support the engagement activities. So we're running a survey, so that's both, we've got hard copy and online. We are running the workshops, and there might be some other ways that you would like to be involved. So are you happy if we break into a little bit of a workshop type thing where I get you to answer a couple of questions? Would that be all right? So if I can just get you to all have a think about what access and inclusion means to you on a personal level. Have you all got pens or no? If not, you can use these. And you can go across more than, if you need more pages. But thinking about what's important to you when we talk about access and inclusion, whether that might be something around accessing a physical place, or is it around accessing employment or education, or maybe it's someone that you know, you would care for someone. Do you want a different colour? No, you happy with that one? Okay. Sorry, I'm being a bit prescriptive. So, or, yeah, pink and red. that,
I got this whole note.
I'll come back and get them, don't worry. You might need a few pages. Yes, questions?
So what are we, like, problems that
So if you think about, can everyone hear me without the microphone? If you think about the things that you like to go and do or you want to be involved in, how do you access that? How do you get there? Do you come across any obstacles?
So it's about physical disability, but it could also be about autism or anything else that you feel is holding you back from accessing service or doing something or yeah.
So that's thanks.
Before you had the license, did you have any obstacles?
Pardon?
Before you had your license, did you have any obstacles? Oh, yeah. Okay, so that was done.
Is this activity not just question 13 on your quiz? On your little survey, is this activity you're making us do not question just 13? What's your biggest barrier you experience or observe in relation to disability access? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so you can have a look, everyone's got a copy of the survey too, so you can have a look in there at some of the questions. Might give you a little bit of a prompt, because question 9 is like, where do you think council should focus its efforts to improve disability access and inclusion? There's a whole heap of tick boxes there that you might not have thought of before.
That's simple.
Guys, Abby suggested to open it so you can have a discussion. I'm
Please.
suggesting, because the meeting's been paused, this is like a little workshop-y thing. This isn't like speak or die. This is, you can talk about what you like.
We're not being recorded.
If,
Yes, we are.
yeah, we're still streaming.
We're still streaming.
Yeah.
Please, I'm so confused.
Okay, the question here, from my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, everything up here in the stream is what these lovely people would like to hear from us, because we're the youth, we're like the next generation of people who this, like, the community will be influenced by, I suppose you could say. Is there any accessibility, like, things that you find difficult? Is there, like, people that you know, or, like, friends or family or anything that, you know, they have particular struggles that us letting them know could benefit their future development plans of, like, for Gawler specifically? I know Debbie...
It's not just your own personal perspective and what you experience. It might be what you're hearing in your community or hearing in your social networks or what you're observing. So it doesn't have to be just if you're someone who doesn't identify as someone with a disability, but you have people in your networks that you are aware of, really bringing that observation and that perspective forward in discussions.
My mum, she works at a school with kids with disability, like high schoolers, and it's really hard for them to get job interviews and like just get access to jobs and cars and stuff because of their I guess disability, and people are nervous to give them work experience and stuff like that because they hear kid with autism and they freak out because, oh my god, my mum's like fighting like to get her kids into work experience to get jobs. So I guess breaking down those barriers in businesses and the stigma of kids with autism can't handle things on their own when they're capable of it if you actually give them a job to do.
That's such an excellent example. Thank you for sharing. So, and the purpose of this activity is just to get our brains kind of thinking. So I'm sure what you've just sort of shared is going to help, and you've got your hand up very high, and I will come to you. And what we can do for this workshop is just open it up, all chat. We're scribing notes, so it can go anywhere as long as we're getting the young people's perspective.
I might just remind her to turn your mics on if you are going to speak, sorry.
Do they
Yeah,
then
you can
off?
leave them all on. Yeah,
it's
as
on.
long as it's a little green light.
Yes, please.
I think it is very much public perception and a perception in workplaces with getting employment, because I'm autistic, I have a lot of friends who are autistic. It is very difficult if an employer knows in the interview because they automatically assume so many things. And with autism, I think a lot of disabilities, it is like a spectrum of ability, like everyone has differing levels of ability with everything. And I think doing things to work on public perception of disability would be helpful for getting people with disability like more access to employment and, like Molly said, work experience and stuff like that.
Beautiful, thank you, Lily. Does anyone have something to add on?
Yeah, so just add on to Lily's comments that I noticed that the council area actually have a pretty good infrastructure around disability access. However, I think the main reason why we don't see that much disability people on the street is not really about they are unable to walk physically to our buildings. It's more about the bias and our idea against them that should be waived by campaigns, stuff like that, to increase our awareness that they are actually the same, just different but the same as many of us. And that what's the second thing I was thinking about? And sorry.
That's okay.
Like the infrastructure was pretty good, but the main reason I think stopped them. For example, that the service SA they're actually currently conducting something called quiet hours, which I think maybe the council could conduct similar practice, like the service SA did, and maybe the council can encourage service SA to conduct quiet hours in Gawler area as well.
Yes, so some quiet areas in
so currently the service
buildings.
Yeah,
or
basically what they do is they dim the lights and they talking whisperly. Therefore, people who with disorders such as autism can maybe get public service better, in person, and feel more safer compared to those normal operating hours.
Thank you, Bernie.
I'm going to read out Debbie's sticky note first because she's listed some things as well. I think from the previous YAC discussions, not Deb's personally, footpaths are a big thing, especially in Gawler. The accessibility to transport, especially the newer development areas, is certainly probably something to focus on, and also youth specifically, the ability to be employed at the moment I think is at an all-time low because everything needs experience, but then it's like, where do you get the experience from? Personally for me, I work for a youth-based event company, and I know that we've been working a lot on how to create like a safe space for events, but not like lean into the stigma of like, oh, this is anything in particular is changing because it's more accessible, and I say that in quotations. So definitely, like having the quiet spaces in the like event sort of area, and also I think a big thing, especially coming off of what Lily said about how difficult it is to get a job. If you don't have a job, you don't have the money. Then you don't have the money to go to the thing. So I recently ran an event and it's pay what you can. So it's not only more accessible for literally everyone, but it's also not like an awkward thing of, oh, I don't have the money for this, or I don't have a way to get there or something, because it's just do what you want. Lily, please, go for it.
And people with disabilities often need, and I know there's like NDIS and stuff, but often need more money to begin with to manage their disability, and because they can't work as much, and then they also can't get a job because of the stigma and because no one wants to employ them.
Yeah, so that you're sort of saying that...
Catch-22.
Yes, yeah.
I suppose I'll ask a sub-question off of what you're writing. For us as a committee, is there anything from our experience or things that we are seeing, whether that's like downstairs in the youth space, that people we know in the youth space, or people we know like family or friends or anything, is there anything that we think we can do either as people or as like a council body, I'm going to say again in quotations, to positively benefit other people? I would say more, trying to find the right word, more information on accessibility measures. Like, it's all good and fine for a company or space or event to say, yeah, we're accessible, but like, how? And what information have they brought into the event, and like, whose experience have they brought into the event to then better understand the disability measures? So are they considering transport? Are they considering like bathrooms? Are they considering all these different things? How do we find that information? Can they make an accessibility guide that's publicly available, sort of thing? Lily?
Just because some methods of accessing information about this kind of thing are inaccessible to a lot of people, especially with a disability, and also saying you're like accessible as an event or program or something, you do need to specify what that means, because you could say, oh, it's accessible because it has a wheelchair ramp, but then someone who's hearing impaired could come and, oh, there's no like captions on the film you're showing, you know?
So around that a collective understanding of, or definition of accessibility, you're not seeing that across an event
it's
and
not really
because
that,
it's
it's
so
just that
diverse.
you have to specify what you mean by accessible, because this disability isn't one thing, it's so many things.
That's a really good point too.
Like, I think for that particular problem, what we can do is maybe we can publish a guide, like on a classification of like some symbols, but each symbol representing one particular accessibility. Therefore, for people with disability, when they read the symbol within the term of, like within the area for events or like a building, they know what type of accessibility is provided. Like the classification on the film, like we have this sort of levels that you already sort of knew somehow of what you're watching, and for this, you sort of knew what you're attending for.
Yeah, great suggestion. That would be awesome.
I don't really know if it's a bad or good thing, but I've gone through most of my life without the knowledge of any of this, being honest. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Like, a lot of the things you've asked me, like, about ideas of this, I don't think most of the general knowledge even really understands or knows this exists, or even knows what half of this means. But I'm looking at these questions and I'm very confused. The only thing that comes to my head really is with the fact about people talking about autism and getting like checked and stuff. That's very hard. Like, it's not, it's very hard because you're either too young but not young enough, or too old, and like it's really, and then also the fact is the older you get, the more expensive it gets, and like that becomes a problem And also, a lot of people that do work with NDIS or things that give money for disability people, they don't truly understand a lot of it. I'm being, like, from personal experiences I've heard from others, there's a lot of, like, they didn't actually know what that is. They didn't know what that disability was, or they didn't read it, or they just see it and they just go, okay, that's that. Whereas a lot of that. So I don't know, those are, like, interesting, that's just pretty much it, really.
Thank you for sharing your insights, and there's absolutely no right or wrong kind of answers. And I think you're right. A lot of people don't know about disability access and inclusion plans or the legislation. But I guess if you're living with a disability or if you're caring for someone, then access and inclusion becomes where the gaps are. That becomes very obvious really quickly. So thank you for sharing your thoughts. And Lily?
I think more education for the general public of disability would be really helpful in both destigmatisation and then people who work with people with disabilities understanding it better, because I feel like, building on what Emma was saying, a lot of people who work with people with disabilities don't understand how many things can be disabilities. They're like, oh, these things are disabilities and this is how this person with this disability behaves, this is how you help them, and it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's said with the autism spectrum, because we've mentioned autism a lot, it's like every autistic person needs different supports.
Yes, there is not one
There's no one thing, it's so
that
many
fits.
things.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think education about that to the general public would be important and helpful.
I have, from a number of points that you've made just before you chat, is I've got down awareness raising so that, people learn more about it out in the community, like all of us. Yes.
I have two things in particular. Firstly, I think we'll never actually have a fully accessible event. At the end of the day, unfortunately, as horrible as it is to say, not one particular event will ever be fully accessible unless it's fully funded for absolutely everything, which, good luck. But I think as well, because we're almost regional, Gawler's pretty much right next to regional, everything that I have personally seen for accessibility and disability inclusion is metro. It's all in the city, which unfortunately just isn't good enough since we're out here, and there's youth everywhere. At the end of the day, there's youth and there's people with disabilities and neurodiverse people quite literally everywhere. So the fact that it's not so much spoken about out this way of town is really difficult. This is a biased opinion for myself, but it's also just so insanely expensive. I'm putting on a show at the moment. I'm getting Auslan interpreted for one show. It's $700 for a 60-minute Auslan interpretation, which I don't mind personally because it's worth it, but also that's kind of insane. That's a little bit insane. But I think noting somewhere as well just how many opportunities there are to have the inclusion there, but it's just too expensive or just too hard, is probably something to note as well. I know we have the lovely Debbie and the lovely youth space, which has always been a really accessible place, but again, at the end of the day, it's not going to be fully accessible unless we have an Auslan interpreter, open captioning on absolutely everything. What are the headsets called? I always forget what they're called.
Like a hearing loop?
Yeah, the hearing loops. Unless we can manage to find funding from goodness knows where, it won't ever be fully accessible, which is difficult, but probably something to note down.
Thank you. And I've got those jotted.
I got a hearing loss, and for someone who has a hearing loss, there's not much in the shopping centres, noise gets lost. So if I'm shopping with my mum, let's just say, sometimes I can't hear her because it's so noisy. And just to, I don't know how to explain it, but it needs to be more like inclusive. So like I can hear, like I have hearing aids and I'm not wearing them right now because they annoy me. But I don't know how to say it, but we need more for like people who are deaf or hearing impaired and vision. Like when we think of disability, we think of physical disability like wheelchair, and then we think of autism and that sort of mental disabilities, but we don't really think about people with hearing losses and people who are blind. It's just they go under the radar and hardly noticed. So I think we need more accessibility, like the service dogs, letting them go into more places, like public transport. I know that other states, they allow guide dogs to go on public transports, but here I don't, unless it's changed. Yeah, they are. They've changed. Okay. So like just that sort of stuff that I don't know what I'm saying.
I think what you're trying to say, or what I'm hearing, is that disability is really diverse.
Yeah.
And I do understand there is a lot happening in the autism space.
Yeah. And that is great.
And
I'm
that's
not
great.
dishing that. No,
Yeah,
it is amazing.
absolutely.
Like they need more support. Like they need all the support they can get. But yeah.
But there are other
Yeah.
disabilities that people experience that are impactful in their
Yeah.
in their
And that
life.
aren't getting enough support.
Yeah.
Who are not getting enough support. Yeah.
I don't think many disabled people are getting enough support at all. Like no matter what the disability is, I don't think many disabled people are getting enough support, and I think it is largely it's a societal issue and it's like a financial issue too, because it costs so much money.
So it costs so much money to pay for support, or are you even talking more broadly, like in terms of the NDIS, like costs a lot
all
of
of
money?
it.
Like so lots of everything all costs. So in some of the stats before we had up there, like there's quite a high percentage of the population who provide unpaid care to people in the community. That happens across all communities, but you're absolutely right. There is not enough funding in the system, and support is expensive. Yeah. Did you have any other? Oh, sorry.
Did you have your hand up, Emerson?
Sorry.
With the NDIS and stuff, a lot of the programs that do support or will fund usually require a certain test. So a lot of places require that test and some places require a different one. So maybe trying to figure out a way, like it's one certain test, it's one like way of showing that you are that category, like that disability. Because there has been times where people have been tested one way and that's not accepted at the place they're trying to get help from. And also with the like knowledge thing, a great thing could be, rather than bombarding general public with a lot of this, like a lot of learning about this is great still, but you could just simply, I bet you there's a lot of people out there who don't know that the traffic light has that thing there for blind people, for people who can't hear and see well. A lot of the bumps on the ground are for also blind people. There's quite a lot of things out there that we do have that a lot of people probably don't know that exist. So that'd be just like, it's a way to breathe the general public into it, and then if they want to learn more, there's places you have more stuff for them to learn as well.
Yeah, great.
There's, on the traffic lights, I don't know if everyone will know what Emerson was talking about. There is above the button that you press to like be like, there's a pedestrian here, turn the light green so I can walk across. There's like a little bump, and if you put your hand on it, it pulses with the flashing and the noise. So for people who are like hearing impaired, vision impaired, they can feel it with their hand. I don't know if everyone knew that, because
probably not.
I think
Probably not.
everyone I've told about it has not known about it.
Yeah.
And I mainly tell children so that they stop pressing the button.
Yeah. Yeah. We which is always their favourite thing. Oh, I was just telling my kids the other day, like, so the circles, the bumps in the pavement, so they're there to warn people that there's a change in the pavement coming. So there is quite a lot that happens in the Disability Discrimination Act, so that some of those infrastructure things are required. But it's true, not many people know about it. So it is around all that awareness raising. Yeah. How are we going to finalise?
It is
20 past.
7, so I'm tracking well, but
Tracking well, yep. Did we have any further kind of comments around this sort of challenges or ideas for Town of Gawler before we then maybe get you to think around if there's some ways that you would like to support the engagement activity? Yes, Abby.
I would say as well, more so on the accessibility side of transport, it's simply so unsafe these days. It's kind of ridiculous, like public transport. I know that I'm sure like Metro and stuff have been working on it, but Elizabeth train station, need I say more, is there an opportunity to have, not, I don't think Gawler specifically, but just in general, more funding for security, because it's, at the end of the day, it's that thing of a lot of people with disabilities can't drive, so they have to use public transport, but if the public transport isn't safe, then they're obviously not going to go on it, and then how are they going to get to anywhere or do anything? Because I feel like safety is paramount above everything. Like, accessibility is fantastic, but if it's unsafe accessibility, then it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And the cost of everything is unbelievable. I have here that, like, to probably spend not only 6 months on a waiting list to see a doctor or psychologist, but to just get like a diagnosis with even just ADHD or autism costs thousands of dollars. That doesn't include like medication or therapy or anything. So how are we supposed to make that money as youth in particular when it's not accessible or safe for us to then go try and find that job or anything?
On that, it's worse that your therapy and stuff do get cheaper once you get tested for things. So until like there's a little bit of leeway with therapy, like you do sometimes get like a little rebate for only 10 sessions a year that it's gone. But if you had like an autism test and you test really high on it, especially I think it's level 2 of autism is where it kicks in, and level 3 it kicks in a lot. The thing is getting the funding to get tested, to then get cheaper stuff, while also still paying for the stuff, it's a little bit of backwards. Also the fact that Gawler has very interesting psychologists. The current only ones are really in the hospital and hard to get to, hard to book in, simply because there's only really one main guy. There's like a second person, I think, as well. But you have to go through your doctor, you need to get your health plan prepared. That's like a 2-hour, 3-hour doctor appointment. Those are expensive. And then you finally get to it. And the thing is, they also have the power to just cancel it. They have the psychologist has the power just to cancel the appointment for any reason, really, or really not notify you, wonder why you're not coming, cancel it. So that happens.
And you still have to pay $200 sometimes.
Yeah.
If they don't notify you and you miss and they cancel it, you still. I was going to add a point on public transport. It is not safe, and by not safe, it's like physically unsafe to be on the main metro line. I have a friend who catches it to go to dance after school, so she's in her school uniform, and she gets like sexually harassed like semi-frequently, and so it's just not safe. And it, for people with disabilities, especially like obvious disabilities, they would become targets. It would be so much worse. I know people have gotten like knife threats on there. It's just unsafe to be on the public transport, which is the only means of transport for some people, especially people with disabilities.
And a lot of young people.
And a lot of young people
who
too, who are also vulnerable.
Might not have their licence or driving licence, driving lessons and cars.
So it's the vulnerable population
Yes.
who are most at risk of being in that unsafe environment because they can't drive, like the elderly,
That's
young
right.
people, disabled people. Yeah.
Exactly. Ren, did you have anything? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I just wanted to make sure if you had anything you wanted to add. Covered. Okay.
Yeah, I don't really stuff, but driving lessons was extremely expensive. Like for regular person, it already costs $100 per hour. I just can't imagine how much it would be for a disability person to learn to drive. How much does that cost? And also, you have to modify your vehicle by the requirement of law, which is a significant cost.
And Gawler doesn't really have driving features, at least when I went for a bit. Like I didn't.
Yeah, like I have to travel to city sometimes to get a driver's license.
Yeah, or you have to, if you have parents who work a lot, you can't get hours at all because you have to have your like adult with you.
Yeah, like my mother, she holds an international driver license, which she cannot give me any hours. I have to basically totally rely on her friends. Like I have to beg them to give me driving lessons.
Yeah, right. And you probably, like you're saying, it's not, you're not isolated, whether it's, a parent having a different licence or if they're
And there's also
at work.
like communication issues with drivers, like Bernie was saying, it's already so difficult to get driver's licenses.
Yeah, like
And then if you have like communication difficulties because of a disability, or you have like physical mobility issues because of a disability, a lot of driving teachers I feel like would be less willing to work with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like good luck. Most people I met are good, but considering sometimes I just can't really understand English, that sometimes it can be scary for if you meet someone who's not really that nice.
Yes, absolutely. Understand. Any other comments there? Otherwise, we might just see what your kind of levels of interest are around supporting some further engagement activities, whether, like as Linda said before, there's the survey, which is available online or in hard copies. I don't know if you've got through your own other networks outside of this committee.
They've got lots of the hard copies in there.
Yeah, and the use space.
Oh, there you go. Is there anything that this group can be doing in the youth space to activate the survey?
Emerson's been handing them out in school holidays, but we'll go back on that this week.
Okay, yes, you've got your own schooling commitments and whatnot.
Yeah, but and if Lily or Molly's there, anyone or Abby that comes into the youth space, we can encourage other young people to fill them out.
Great. Anything else, like do you have a Facebook page or like how do you do
Yes.
committee
Yeah.
promotions?
That'll all be through Deb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have the committee page, but we also have the Gawler Youth page, so we can and do share information, so we can share the survey across there. We also have a youth workers network, it's already been shared there.
And maybe there's a different way that you would like to connect with other young people or try and grow their awareness around access and inclusion that's not like a survey. Like maybe there's a different way that you want to do it with young people. But I don't know what that would be. Yeah.
I'd say events are such a big thing, specifically in Gawler, because meant with love and respect, there's really not that much going on that youth can go to. Like everything that I've found, especially in the arts, because I work mostly in the arts, is all like 18 plus. Like every music gig's 18 plus because it's at a bar, or it costs $35 to get into, which a lot of youth cannot afford. Never mind people who struggle just to afford medication or anything. So I would say potentially like a public event free entry that is safe and accessible for lots of different types of people could be really useful, but also just having it as like a really chill thing, because I know if it's like, it would create that stigma of like, oh, this is all it's about, it's going to get shoved down your throat, is why people don't take it seriously. So I think, yeah, some sort of youth event or just event in general that's accessible and you don't have to sell a kidney to get into could be really useful, and just having that open discussion and not creating that like tension in the space. Lily?
There's an event in Adelaide called Neo, and it's in the art gallery, and it's for people aged like, I think 12 to 17, is it? Or 13 to 17?
Yeah.
It's teenagers.
Yeah.
And I've been there a few times, and it's very disability inclusive, and it's free. So the only problem is like getting to Adelaide at night. But if we had something, I'm not saying the scale of Neo, but if we had something that was inclusive like Neo, because there's a lot of people with disabilities, there's a lot of queer people who go there, but there's also people who like aren't, who don't have a disability, who go there and who would also really enjoy it. So I feel like having something kind of like that that's really inclusive and caters to like a very wide audience would be really nice.
Right. Back to our blue light,
And also is affordable.
yeah. Affordable too.
Yeah.
Cool. Back to the blue
In
light.
the past, we've done youth events, and when we've asked for feedback, or we're looking for feedback, so our skate park event and other local, like big community events, so that way people are just being asked to either drop something into a piece of puzzle into a box, or put a sticker on something, so when there's been like a conversation, that tends to work because it's not, they don't have to actually answer a survey, they're just like, oh yeah, that interests me, or there's some issues in these areas.
I mean, there's a lot of us get bored and put like 3 or 5 times in the same jar.
The rebels.
There's about like 5 or 6 people who every time they went to the youth space was like, same jar.
I'm back again.
It's like they're like putting their ticket into like enter.
Oh, they're participating. Did you need any other information regarding?
That's good, that's really great feedback. Just, you'll see on the flyer, and definitely you won't go through, but there's a couple of community workshops coming up on the 19th of Feb. One is in the daytime, so it probably would suit you guys, that's at the sports centre, but there is one in the evening here at Civic Centre in I think we're booking into the council chamber, so if anyone's interested in coming along to that, or bringing a friend along, or whatever, or you might want to have your own little young person's table in that workshop. So it's open to anyone in the community. But yeah, feel free to promote the workshop, but also if you want to be involved in the workshop, Chitty will be there, I'll be there, Abby will be there,
So you'd be very welcome.
Mel will be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Paul will
You'll be there
there.
this week. You'll be there. Yes.
So there'll be lots of us there. So if that is something you're interested in, maybe let Deb know, or email or ring me, or text me on the flyer there. So it'd be great to have you involved in some way, even if it's just a pop in. If you do have a friend to bring along, or a family member, whatever you want.
Good to see some, young faces. I have to say that, like, we do a lot of community consultations. One of the strategies that I've done quite a bit of work in is ageing well strategies. So they're strategies that are aimed at people aged 50 and over. So, but what I would just say is, like, hearing the youth voice is really, really important. So you've obviously all committed to that through this committee, but I think for your community to know how dedicated and passionate you are in this space, I think that's, it'd be really great to have a youth focus table at one of those community sessions where you could really get into education and employment or other services and whatnot. So Okay, well, that's probably enough from us unless anyone else has got anything they want us to capture. If you have any thoughts after this, then please share it with Deb. Deb will share it through Linda or Chia up to us. No ideas are bad ideas, and it's just kind of the beginning. I think you guys, there'll be some stuff in this plan that you guys will be able to pick up with and hopefully get a free event coming along. Maybe. Yeah. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
And then there was a motion.
Can I collect up the papers or is it unless it's or just that and a text?
No, it's Chair's copy.
Alrighty, everyone, we are moving back into normal meeting procedures now. If you would like to come be seated.
So I'm happy to move the report on what we were just.
Thank you, Councillor Davies. So that is for 8.4, the Disability Access and Inclusion Plan Development Update. So the mover is Councillor Davies. And a seconder? Lily? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Jumping back to item 7, apologies, is decision reports. So we are calling for a nomination of presiding member, so chairperson, and nominations for deputy presiding member, so deputy chair. Alright, we're going to call for a chairperson, presiding member first. Can I have a raise of hands for anyone who would like to nominate themselves as chair? Lily? And Emerson for chairperson? Anyone else nominating for chairperson? Right. We're going to hand out some little slips of paper now.
We'll do chairperson first, and then we'll do deputy. I'll get you a pen.
You can use my pen.
Is George?
I've got a box. Does anyone else need a pen? I have a box for no reason, so thank you for use them.
I haven't got a video.
I'll come and collect them and hand them to Chia once you're.
I want you first. I want you to get it. I want you to get it. I have a year left of this committee, and then next year I'm gonna probably have to age out. Maybe. This is the deputy, right? Or
This
did
is
you-
for chairperson.
No,
So
you gave me two.
we'll leave the second one.
Yeah, we'll give you another one for deputy. All right, so everyone's voted? Everyone's had their piece of paper collected? All right.
Anybody who would like to nominate themselves for Deputy Chair, please raise your hand. So we've got Bernie, Lily and myself. We're going to hand another lot of sheets around.
No, because that's one of the deputy chair, that one probably says chair.
But can I keep it?
Oh, yeah, sure.
As long as you're not voting twice.
So, you know.
It's called spelling incorrectly.
Okay, the votes are in and Lily is our deputy chair. Congratulations, well done. For the rest of this meeting though, Abby is still the presiding member because that recommendation needs to go to council for adoption. So from our next meeting, we will have Emerson and Lily.
If we approve it.
Yes, if approved by council.
No, they say no, I hate those guys.
I wouldn't want to preempt the decision, but hopefully that will be the case. Thank you to everyone who nominated and congratulations to those who were elected.
Now we have to do a motion on it.
It is the current officer's recommendation that in accordance with the terms of reference, the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee 1 appoints Emerson Speed to the position of presiding member of the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee for a term of 1 year. And 2, I'm not going to try to pronounce your surname.
Vanderplug.
Vanderplug, great, thank you. Appoints Lily Vanderplug to the position of Deputy Presiding Member of the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee for a term of 1 year. Congratulations. Mover? Molly? And a seconder? Councillor Davies? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Alright, we are going to move to item 8, which is information reports, handing over to the Youth Development Officer for an update.
Thank you, Abby. We have just finished January school holidays and we're back in the space for term 1. Doesn't seem like there was any downtime this time around, but that was because we had lots of programs jam-packed in. We have more young people coming forward to participate in council programs. The more programs we are trying our hardest to run so that more young people can access these. There was lots of difference from skilled courses to like the barista training to fun, youth film, to all sorts, but I'll let the young people give you more of an update on that and what they enjoyed. We did meet at least 10 brand new 12-year-olds that were so excited to come into the youth space. It's always great to see the new ones, you know, get to the right age so they can join our programs. Some of them still have to wait until they go to high school for term programs, but they're getting pretty excited, so it is. And obviously drama has a little bit of a wait until our show is over, and then we'll have a new intake into the drama program as well. So term 1 band came back last week as they are practicing for quite a few gigs during the Fringe and the first half of the year. Drama came back tonight, and art is also commencing this week on Wednesdays. Fringe 2026, I'll get Abby to update you a little bit more on that later on what's going on. In Gawler, I did want to ask the committee, probably 4 years ago now, we put the committee through child safe training. If you remember, I think Ren, Emerson, Abby, that's probably, and maybe more, Jade and a couple of others did that program with us. It's getting close to 5 years, which was when you need to do it. Would you like that to be offered this year, either in April or July school holidays? Obviously paid for, you just have to come. Yes?
Can you just give us a quick rundown to remind us what this exactly is, and for the new people?
So this is how to report when you're a volunteer or work with young people. It is how to report abuse. So recognise and report abuse. So if you remember doing that course a while ago, it was a one-day training you would have done here.
Just noting, the course is called Through Their Eyes. You might recognise it from that name instead.
I think it was a different name when you guys did it so many years ago, but maybe not. Anyway,
Possibly child safe environments or
yeah.
mandated notification if you work or volunteer with children, which many of you as YAC volunteers do. It is a requirement that you have it if you, I think it's 7 volunteers 7 times working with children over the course of 12 months. So it is a requirement.
Yeah, so a lot of you that volunteer regularly, it is a requirement that you have it. So council will pay for that for you out of our budget, but would you want it in April, July, October?
Does anyone mind?
I think mine expires in 2029.
Okay.
I don't know if I did that.
You definitely haven't done it yet.
I think April would be good.
So would you like it to plan for April or July, October?
April,
April?
if that's okay with other people.
We'll open it up like we do with First Aid to other young people in the area to come in for the day. So we'll still keep it as a small group, but as a training, and obviously other members that aren't here as well can access that. It is great, a lot of employers require that for employment, so it is something that I encourage you to do. Alright, thank you. The Workforce Australia has a Careers Expo coming to Gawler in September, so the 24th of September. They would like some help. So if any of our youth committee would like to put their hand up, this is not volunteering with us, it's just like when the Hope Cup calls for volunteers, it's volunteering for them. So they would be asking for things like the working with children's check, that sort of stuff as normal when you volunteer, which you all have as members. So if you are interested, can you please let me know either now or over the next few weeks, because they'd like to put a team of people together to help. So that's like set up, pack up, like I guess meeting people at the door, giving them a bag, telling them where things are. It's going to be held at the race course in Gawler, so not in not this one, like the previous one that we had. So if anyone's interested, please let me know. Our next meeting is team building, so on the 2nd of March in the youth space from 6 till 7:30, we have team building, and this will be an opportunity to talk about the Gen Now pieces as well, and come up with some ideas of what we want that to look like, whether you do them individually, groups, or how we want to do that. So that would be a great opportunity. And obviously, if anyone wants to put their hand up, Abby will be there, so there will be a youth table. So if another one or two of you would like to attend the one here, please let us know, so you can join in as well. And that is all from me, because I'll wait and let you guys do the rest of the updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Noting that report, could I please have a mover? Any questions?
just ask, what happened in March? Is that when our fridge? Is that fridge? For the outside of term and school holidays, March has 228 monthly attended. What happened in March? Do you remember?
Why is March 10 times bigger than any of the other months?
In what page is that?
Page 13.
13 of 26.
Because it's outside of our program of school holiday and term. So I'm wondering
So we
what
would have
happened.
done a big event, so if you can remember last March, it would have been something to do with Fringe, or it more than likely would have been a youth film.
Would have been a combination. Fringe in the park.
Fringe in the park, youth film.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So we did a few. Fringe is a really busy. February, March is really busy just for council in general. So we would have done.
It's actually the drama Fringe performance. That's exactly what it is, because there was 97 in one and 99 in another. So that's the actual Fringe show you did last year. You had 97 come to the first seating and 99 come to the second seating. We maxed it.
And that counts as an outside of school holiday program as well.
And normal program, so it wasn't a youth space event and it wasn't a school holiday program, it was something extra. This is just to show council that and record that we don't just do school holiday and term programs, otherwise it's not documented anywhere that we still have a lot of young people coming to other events we run. So that most of those numbers are just that.
But also band at Fringe in the park. And
Yes, yeah, so
Fun Day.
yeah, family fun day, those sorts of stuff. So there's lots to account for that, but 200 straight up is from the drama show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look huge when you put it like that. So let's see this year, you've got only one show, so you're going to get to your max.
Do we have any other questions or discussion? No. Could I now please have a mover? Bernie? And a seconder? Emerson? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. If we could all please turn to page 18 and 19 of the agenda. Item 8.2 is regarding Molly's motion of the bins on Murray Street. So this is the report back regarding that matter.
Yeah, so through the chair, I'll just give a little bit of context. Obviously, Molly moved a motion asking for a little bit more information on how it would be possible to increase the number of bins and potentially increase the types of bins, so including green organic waste bins. So been in contact with the people that manage the waste within council, and essentially more bins is more funding, but given the fact that there are a few limitations with the waste removal process at the moment, and that the place where our waste is going is increasing their ability to recycle just from the one waste stream. At the moment, there's no, desire from council to increase the number of bins or the types of bins, because the end recycling is getting so much better that is happening regardless. So, any questions?
Thanks to Molly for this motion, because I learned new things from this report.
So did I.
I'm not particularly happy with the idea that all the waste in the Murray Street bins is sent to landfill, even the ones that are in the recycling bins. I think that is people who are conscientious will deliberately wait to put their cans and bottles, for example, in the yellow marked bins, and if that's going to landfill, then that's false advertising. And so, as opposed, I discussed it a bit with Molly earlier, but I think maybe rather than more bins, we should be looking at ways to increase the efficiency of the current recycling bins, or some way for it to become less contaminated, such as labelling it cans and bottles only, or better signage, or better public advertising. so that's working better. That was my thoughts. Happy to hear everyone's thoughts.
On the idea of changing stuff, I don't know, I can't find exactly where on here it's saying what the bins are getting contaminated with, but I know you listed some normal general waste and some pee as well, Cody said before. We could just redesign, because looking at the designs on the photos here, first off, the wood is rotting, you can see it in the photo. Plus it's also got a gap opening, what leads to the bin inside. I know it's probably just a normal plastic bin. Second, also, even though recycling does have that trying to stop thing, it's very badly designed, simply because they look too similar. Anyone with a little bit of colour blindness and red yellow won't know the difference. Anyone who's trying to read or look at it, signage, there's no real signage, it's just red, yellow.
Keep going, I have this.
So yeah, thinking about maybe if it costs too much to replace, or if it even costs too much to get new type of bins in, we just simply find a better redesign. Maybe it being them a little bit separate, maybe it just showing clear signage of it and stuff like that. I don't, also, like, yeah, there's an image of a singular bin. I don't think that's just general waste, it just has a black sign on it. I don't know what that one is. So having a recycling bin next to it or close by, but something just, I don't know. It's good.
No, they're good. Thank you.
Sorry, through the chair, I don't know if you've actually seen in other states what they do on their bins, which is probably an easy fix and doesn't cost a lot of money. They hang a basket on the side which is attached to the bins or the bin system. So at the moment where people are breaking the locks and forcing them open to go through the bins and get the cans out, it's on the side and it's put there for people to take the cans. So everyone in the community puts it in the baskets on the side. People that walk along that want the cans can take the cans. That way the bins aren't being broken into to get the cans. But it also eliminates the thing is that we have a report that says where the waste goes, so the cans will stay out of landfill. So that's a really great thing. You can have a look at Townsville, on the Strand and a couple of other places around Australia that do it, and they do it really well, and it does help people in need as well that need the cans.
I do think that does sound amazing, but unfortunately Gawler is a little bad for that idea, simply because the bins that do get raided and stuff usually end up in our car parks. I don't know, a group of, I'm assuming teenagers, raided an op shop bin, left it piles on top of the entire car park. Someone left a box of just wood before. So it is a great and wonderful idea. The unfortunate thing is if none of it is taken by the time it gets dark, or by the time teenagers are out of school and walking around, it will get picked up, it will get thrown, it will get kicked, it will get smashed, it will go everywhere. It is an amazing idea. I do think it's an amazing idea. Having some type of concept of that, it's just, especially with the current teenagers and the previous current teenagers, it's a little on the interesting side.
And through the chair, that's obviously a very good point, and something for council to consider if they were going to do that.
Building on what Emerson said, there is so much vandalism in Gawler that I just don't think that idea is going to really be feasible, because they will just get like littered everywhere, and whatever you build, if it can be destroyed easily, it'll be destroyed.
So I think just reading the report, it says, the recycling bins, common contaminants are plastic bags, food waste and coffee cups, etc. Just looking at this photo of the recycling bin, there's not really any indication of anything aside from, I don't know, there's a red and yellow panels. but I just feel like a clear indication of cans and bottles only or something would help people understand what was going on. Because yellow bin can mean multiple things, and some people think it could mean plastic, etc.
One thing I did notice when I walked Murray Street and took photos of the bins and looked at the signage, a lot of it is very faded, so there may have been stuff on there once, but it's gone through the sun and the weather. So even just updating the signage is a really easy way to hopefully reduce that contamination.
On that point, I remember when these bins were being installed, these were new ones, it did originally, there was like the first couple had signage, but it was still just kind of red, yellow with a little bit of like the recycling symbol. The newer ones usually don't end up with signage. Like over the years when there more came eventually, they were just red, yellow. Also with the can idea, if it's a problem still with people breaking in, you could have certain, like only bins that are for cans. The blue bin, I think blue is cans only. I know that's cost not effective, negative probably. It's going to cost more. But that way you could have like a certain bin maybe down near the subway area, just like one bottle of can bin in Gawler, in like the most kind of public area. That way it's, if it does get broken in, something like that. Or people have, a lot of different states have technical ones like that, where you put it in and you get the money straight away, or you get a receipt or something to go somewhere. The idea probably won't be accepted simply because it would involve a council building. Would be your idea with the bottles and stuff on the side, but somewhere like put it through a chute in a council building, then someone comes in and asks for it. But the problem with that way you can mediate, and you can see this is a teenager who's not visually struggling or has no reason exactly why they need it. That way you could mediate it. But the problem with that is council might not like the idea of having a box somewhere of cans and bottles.
Through the chair, obviously the basket on the side of the bin would have to be considered. It may not work in our council town. The other option is that there is blue bins that a lot of residents in Gawler have a blue bin brought to their house. You put your cans and bottles in there, someone collects it, so you call, they come and collect it. They collect it on one day of the week, they take it away, you get half that cost. But as a council or a building, you can ask for these blue bins to be put anywhere, and they can take the whole amount and they will donate half of that to a charity. So you can nominate, we want half of whatever is collected to go to a certain charity. So that's another option as well. So there could be blue bins within the civic centre, the sports centre, within the main street, wherever you like. They get collected by a company. That means Town of Gawler don't have to do it. There's no more cost for them. The bins are free. They get implemented and they get taken away, and then council nominate which charity. So they can go, we want to send it here, and then vote. And it can go to sporting clubs. It can go wherever they like. So that's another option as well. But 5 cents goes to the company. The other 5 cents goes to whoever it is they nominate. But there are other ideas out there. It's just what works for Gawler.
Any more discussion regarding that topic? No? Could I please have a mover?
Yeah.
Lily? And a seconder? Bernie? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. If you could please turn to page 21 of your agenda. This is for item 7.3 here. Potential mural locations, which was Emerson's motion.
So council has seemed to have gone back to us showing 4 locations where we are able to have a mural, and these 4 locations are council owned, so it just became a lot easier for them to find. We have a couple options. Option 1, of course, is decide which one we like the most and pick it, and just have a mural done. I think with that thing, we can also say, if we pick one today, we can also ask for more information about it if we have any questions about it. Option 2 would be just simply asking about all 4 of these locations for more stuff. And option 3, I believe, is we skip this year. I think option 2 will also skip this year. And then we ask to discuss about private properties. With that, private properties will of course be negotiated with other places, so it is going to be like probably more of a 60% chance of not happening at all. Please look over on page 22 and 23 and 24, those are the 4 options. I personally like option 4, the very final one. I think it's more open in the Gawler space, closer to the centre of Gawler. Of course, with the windows being there, it's a little bit of a hassle with murals, but you can work around it or just have an interesting part.
Thank you, Emerson. Do we have any discussion about this? Obviously, have a look at the pages and let Emerson know if there's any thoughts or feelings regarding the 4 suggested locations.
Through the chair, I would also just note that there is a note at the end of the report just saying, due to our budget timeframes, obviously we don't have just a pool of money sitting for artwork. We have to put in a budget bid and request that council consider it, and council decide on that as part of the overall budget for council every year. So we would need to put in a request, and our deadline for that is fast approaching. So if the committee would like to do that, we pretty much need a motion moved this evening for that. Or as Emerson said, we can take a bit longer to develop a proposal or ideas for a different site, but it would be in the next financial year.
I agree with Emerson. I think option 4 is the best one because it's the most like main town Gawler facing, I guess. It's the best showcased in main town, and I feel like the windows would be easy to avoid with the main as well, but easy enough.
We'll also say that is a very big section of wall, so the amount we've, for example, I'm sure you've all seen the bird mural inside the building here. That was around $12,000 a few years ago. Given general increases in artistic fees and things like that, we had suggested $20,000. That would not, I assume, cover that whole wall, but you could do a partial elements or elements of design on there, so it probably wouldn't be the entire thing, but elements or certain patchwork design over there.
What about Bernie and Ren? Do you have any ones? And Abby, I think have your opinions. Do you have any opinions on which one, where we place it?
I think if we're gonna move with this motion today and pass it to the council, or 4 will be appropriate, I personal opinion. But if we hold it, I think that's an also good option because therefore we have more time to discuss details and perhaps the possibility of like a private walls eventually.
Ren, do you have an opinion on this?
Sorry?
Do you have an opinion on where or if we should hold off on that?
I would say I agree with Bernie. I feel like I don't really know what it is.
Abby, do you have an opinion?
I suppose there's pros and cons with both, but in case you're not aware, that wall is of the admin building. So that is obviously council-owned property, and there are people working in there. So I think just taking that into consideration as well, that because of the placement, if we were to go with the 4th one, which I do agree is probably one of the better spaces, is any of this parking going to be influenced by structures if people are like up on ladders and whatnot? In which case it's disabled parking, so would we have to have alternate disabled parking?
Yes, there is a walkway. There's a fence. You can see there's a car park and then there's a fence. There is a walkway between the building and the fence. But if we did need to intrude on the car park for whatever reason, we would have to make the same number of
Would that be covered in the contingency?
Yes.
It would be less than the contingency amount?
Well, our council's own traffic engineer would make that plan for us, so
Perfect.
we wouldn't have to pay for that.
This is true.
Before we decide, a quick point that I did mention to Cody before was that if we do decide now and get one done this year, in this budget year, it opens up a whole lot of like next year if it's really well received, the public is really intrigued about it. It's done by we have artists that are really interested in wanting to do more. The youth are interested in it for planning and stuff. It opens it up a lot for the next coming financial years as well. So I know, considering the options we do have is to an Everston library, what's I find a little weird, considering Gawler. The other option 3, it's a bit out of the way, but it's also concerned for graffitiing. That's why I've gone with option 4. I understand it's the biggest section of the 4 options. But even doing half that wall or doing some type of design with swells or something like that, it's not like a full wall, but it uses the wall, like the whole wall, if that makes sense. It could be really well. So I'm more leaning towards saying we would love to do option 4 if it works with the budget this year. Simply because I think if we get it done and it's amazing and well received, we can get a better one that we're all 100% on. Because I feel like the room is kind of still iffy, and it's kind of been iffy the entire time while discussing about the mural, about making a mural. So if it's really well received, we'll have more time for the next financial bit or the financial bit afterwards to discuss where, how, what are we doing. And if it's not well received as well as I'm hoping, at least it is out there. It's given, like we've at least done something. So then, years down the line, people talk about it, people notice it. If it's years down the line, it's reopens or doesn't reopen. I think that's just like a thought for the future, really.
I will just make sure to note that a budget bid or moving a motion for a budget bid doesn't immediately guarantee that you'll get it. It still needs to go through the approval process with council.
So if it was to be that that image 4, were you suggesting that it needs to be more than 20,000?
I would think if we're doing the entire wall, like a solid mural, yes. I think you could do something really attractive with just elements of design there. I don't think it has to be a solid 100% colouring.
With that, could it be when you're referring it back to the council for the bid, could it be like open to, like say 20,000 would be where would be like the minimum, but if you guys are open to discuss having a higher, is that possible or is that too bad to say?
So I think you should aim higher to start with, and then you should say 25 or 30, whatever, and maybe the council will haggle it down to 20, and you only get half a wall. But better to say up front, this is what we want, rather than aiming low. So
because I agree with Gia here that even half the wall stuff would look pretty good. So I'm happy to ask to at least try for this budget. I hope the other people are also happy as well.
Alright, so in terms of the motion and the number,
Well, we could amend this motion.
note
the report and do a motion without notice.
We haven't moved the motion yet, so we can move a different version of the motion, which is basically recommending option 4, the Gawler Administration Centre, as a budget bid in the upcoming budget.
Maybe 30,000?
30,000.
Start with whatever number you think would be the best.
The worst they could do is say no. So I'd go 30.
Yeah.
Also noting as well, if they do say no, you can reconsider what the motion was. Like at a future meeting, if the elected body's like, nah, that's too much, or we want more information supporting this idea, if they're like, no, you can always gather more information and take it back to the elected body and be like, hey, this is a more concise representation of what we are suggesting.
So we can keep point 1 that we note the potential mural locations report, and add a point 2 that submitting a $30,000 budget bid for a mural on the Gawler Administration Centre. That the act is submitting a budget bid.
Do I have to?
Yeah, well, you don't have to be, it's your thing.
Recommend that the report be noted and that the act submit a budget bid.
Alright, so for 8.3, the officer's recommendation that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee notes a potential mural locations report, and that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee will be submitting a budget bid for $30,000 for a potential mural on option 4 of the report, which is the Gawler Administration Centre.
Yeah.
Any more discussion on this one? Emerson will be the mover because it's his motion. Can I please have a seconder? Lily? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We moved the next motion forwards earlier for the development update, so we're going to be skipping to item 9. Which is items listed for discussion. 9.1 is the presiding member verbal update. I haven't met with Mayor Shanks since last year, and when we did, we had a very brief discussion about potentially having a sit down with the Minister for Transport and communicating with her our our requirements, so to speak, within the youth's accessibility to transport specifically, and also just accessibility to transport in general in the Gawler area, the new developments particularly, and the unstable bus route as well. We have not met with said individual yet, but I should say that that may go ahead sooner than later, now that the Christmas and New Year's period is over. That's my final update as well, so thank you all for having me as chair as well. And good luck to the new deputy and chairperson. Covering 9.2, accessibility to transport, nothing to update until said meeting. 9.3 is the youth programs update. I would like to honourable mentions here to Debbie for all of her work during the school holidays, because there were so many programs and so many people around. So if you get a chance, please thank her. But firstly, Emerson, would you like to have a chat about drama?
Sure. Hello again. The drama program is back this week. It's been left, like last year it was left off. We are pretty much all done with scripts and stuff. This year, with the coming back, we did unfortunately lose a couple members who couldn't make it to the day of the actual show. So we've had to, I believe, drop 2 things that were going to be in the show from happening, and we've moved around people to help. So a lot of people said we're willing to fill in for this show. So a lot of new people, not new people, people in there filling in now for other people. We're at the final stages of pretty much, we're learning, we're just remembering our lines, getting our costumes ready, and that's pretty much with it. In note, drama is now being extended to from, I believe it starts 3:45 to 5:45. So that is great for us. This week was a little slow simply because everyone's getting back into it and not everyone was there, unfortunately. But I can't. The show should go well. Tickets are now open, it says. I don't know if anyone's planning on coming. Please come. It'll be a very interesting one, definitely.
Thank you, Emerson. Lily, would you like to update on band? Oh, you're not in band. Do we have anyone here in band now?
No,
Well-
we left the gauge with
On here, band says that they'll be playing at a few different fringe events as well as backing in the drama show. Are there any new band members? Pending tomorrow. New band members pending. Very exciting. This week we'll see a new program being introduced. Art that will be created for Fringe and also resin with Mad Hatter's parties. Lots of fun. I'm sure that there will be a few of us probably attending those ones, so please feel free to update at future meetings. Anything else in regards to programs? Did anyone go to any of the school holiday programs that really stood out? Please? Enlighten us.
So we had a film, and it's about a pizza delivery guy who goes to an old convent, and it's going to be really good. So I look forward to it. Lots of hands up.
I have a note on one of the programs in the holidays. We did Dungeons and Dragons, and Emerson made us all play as Girl Scouts.
That's your fault.
Not the new people.
No.
It was like, there were like 3 people there whose fault it was.
That's lovely. That's really exciting.
We'll just put that you had fun.
We'll just note in the meeting minutes that you had a good time.
You want to go?
Molly?
Go.
With the filming, it's too high. We had a lot of fun. Like we didn't film it in this building, which we have done for the previously 5, whatever many films. So we filmed at the old nunnery in
6 Porter Street.
6 Porter Street, we let you know the address, which was fun. We filmed there during the day and then at night, which was kind of creepy. Everyone was scared. There was some weird things going on with the ghosts, but it was fun having new experiences, obviously filming in a new environment with new people, and yeah, it was a lot
Cody
of fun.
kept playing creepy sounds.
Yeah, it's scary. A lot of people. Yeah.
Amazing. Emerson, any more?
Do you want to list off the rest of the holiday programs, or are we okay with how? Because
That's up to you, it's your report, you can, is there anything else that you enjoyed?
well,
If you can remember?
we had like 4 weeks because programs kept moving around.
Deb's having war flashbacks.
Maybe mention about the barista course and the giveaway, because that
Yeah,
seems to
that's-
attract a lot of people.
If we want to, 9.4, some things have been mentioned, so we can quickly like, do you want me to go over stuff that's been written down on 9.4 to skip over it, or?
These are programs.
Up to you.
Half the things we've mentioned have been in 9.4.
We're
that's
in
it.
events now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll move over to 9.4 youth events update. Please
Um,
continue.
Well, with that then, Hope Cup went well. It was in a different spot this year, and it was interesting. Weather was crazy. Wind, constant wind. It went really well. I don't actually remember who won. It was the cops or the volunteers. I think it was the underdogs, but I think also the problem was that the other people could have won, but because of the weather, we had to cut it short. Headspace meeting updates. I don't unfortunately have anything on that, simply because the last two meetings I was just very unwell, so I couldn't attend them, and Aislinn isn't here. The giveaway we had, I don't know how 100 people attended. It was very well. We had quite a lot of interesting things donated, quite a lot of things donated, and a lot of things went. Like, this year was I think the advertising went really well, because we didn't have to pack up as much this year. There's not really much to report on that, to be honest, because it's just, we kind of just set up and we sit. I don't remember who tasked me, but I was kind of tasked to get rid of weird things. That was fun.
Inappropriate things.
No, it was like a fluffy bag. No one wanted.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like no one would want these things. So I was just like, so I was tasked to go up to people.
Right, like give them away.
Yeah. The film, I don't exactly remember when it will be shown, but when it does get shown, do come and watch. It is, a lot of effort has been put into it. A lot of behind the scene efforts with Chia and Dev as well have been put into it. Aislinn is unfortunately not here, but me and Aislinn were directors for it. So just a lot of things have gone into it. It should end up being quite well. I believe there is a trailer on the Gawler Youth Instagram. Not yet. There was a little thing.
Sorry, through the chat. On your photos.
There was, I know a couple of people posted on their story a collage of photos, but there was like something showing like back behind the scenes, like a quick little behind the scene edit. So, yeah. I don't remember the rest of the holiday programs, if I'm being honest. We had 4 weeks of holiday programs.
Thank you, Emerson. Did we have any questions regarding holiday programs?
I have one more that I would be interested in talking about. We did a crystal workshop with the people from Spellbound, and that one I thought was good. I just think it was really nice to make things, and I have my bracelets with me. Yeah, it was fun. That's all I really have with them.
Thank you, Lily. Fringe is rapidly approaching, quicker than anyone is aware of. On your tables you have some little pamphlets of events going on during Fringe in Gawler, which is very exciting. If you turn it around, there's also, that was very loud, Adelaide Fringe events that just happen to be occurring in the local area, which is really exciting. Please get out and support the arts. There's people in Gawler doing shows as well, not in Gawler. But please make sure to have a look through. There's a lot of things on the program actually. I'm sure there's something for everyone. I'm going to note as well, here it says anything else. And I probably am not supposed to talk about this yet. I recently hosted an event in Adelaide, which was an outdoor gig at night time. The email's being sent this week, so block your ears, Chia, but it will hopefully be coming to Gawler soon. So if anyone's interested in potential event, like helping out with events or anything, and again, building those connections and networking, because networking is so important, let me know. As well as this, I'm going to note here as well, through the Fringe Guide, have a look at all the different little icons, because they all mean something different. There's music events, there's like theatre-y events, there's community events, there's a film event. They're all different ones, so make sure you have a look and have a look at the variety. The key is on the back of the pamphlet as well. we have anything to add about the events update?
Through the chair, can I just ask, with Aislinn going, taking a leave of absence, is there somebody else that would like to attend the Headspace meetings? We can talk to them to go with Emerson.
With that, they are always welcome. Originally, there was 4 of us who was part of the Headspace meeting. Technically 5, but the one person can't physically come in. It's very accommodating though. Like if you can't physically come in, you still can be a part of it. There's ways of you like video calling in or just simply getting the meeting stuff later and talking about it, like sending a message to the person who runs it. Unfortunately, because I haven't been there for the last 2, I don't exactly know people out of there. Still, when I was there, they were still looking for people. So if you do want to come, ask Debbie or me about it, and they'll be very welcoming.
Thank you. Any more discussion regarding any of the events? No, perfect, thank you. 9.6 is the Generation Now Bunyip column. Team building is on the 2nd of March in the youth space from 6 until 7:30 p.m. I'm sure Deb will send us a message and remind us when that is on. We will be discussing the topics for upcoming pieces then. Item 10 is items listed for discussion at future meetings. Do we have any?
So just something that I've been thinking about, the private Facebook group I don't think is working. I think the group is about as old as some of our members, like it was born before some of our members, and the under 25s are not scrolling their Facebook feeds. So when Debbie's posting them there about updates or about the agenda being up or whatever, it's not getting any interaction. I think maybe we should be looking at more up-to-date ways for.
So through the chair, the others are still, they're all getting a text message to say the information's up there.
Okay.
I just don't send it to the councillors because
Yeah.
I just send it to the committee, so they're getting text messages as well. So if the information's up there, they're getting a text so that they know they can either get the information from me or go to that page. So we can eliminate the page, but I guess it is good to put some stuff up because a lot of people aren't interested in it.
Yeah.
And then if they want it, they can go access it.
Yeah, that's right. I was just thinking it might be, I don't know, because you post happy birthday and all that sort of thing, and I assume it's not that everyone here isn't interested in wishing each other a happy birthday, they just don't check the Facebook group. So I just thought maybe there's a different kind of group chat or something that might be more attuned to the modern era.
If there is through the chair, if there is another group chat, we can definitely look into that. This is just obviously the most practical for now, but text messages are going out. If you want to be included in the group text messages, I guess we need your permission. Okay.
Talking about the text messages, they get flooded. I don't know half the things in the text message you send me. It's about volunteering, about film, about every program I'm in. It's about this. So I agree with Cody here. Invest somewhere else besides Facebook. I'm sorry, no one uses Facebook. Could be even Messenger. Just a Messenger group chat, but then it's less formal. Or think about having a separate number for this, so it's not flooded. Because if I'm being completely honest, half the time when I get messages from Gawler youth, it's like, I don't know what that's about. Skip. Because it's like, at least the last couple of weeks, it's been like 10 messages a day. So it's been like, I don't know what to say. There has been a couple of days where it's been like 10.
Through the chair, there are a lot of text messages. It's because you're in a lot of different things. So obviously there's one that goes for volunteers, one for drama, one for band, one for art, lots of stuff that does go out, and it's more so for parents because they do need this information, especially when the person is under 18, but it goes to the young person as well.
I think for alternative social medias, Instagram would be a good idea. But also having a group chat would also be good. I also think if we do end up getting new members in the committee, we have to keep in mind if we're doing anything on social media, the social media ban. So anyone who joins the committee who is under 16 will not be able to access certain things anymore.
So through the chair, if
Everyone on the committee is over 16, but
yeah, so through the chair at the moment we're okay. It is something we have to consider that most people that are in the Facebook groups are your parents, so whether or not they share that with you, that's why you get that text message. If we go to Messenger, the only thing that will be lost is that we won't be able to share PowerPoints of different things and different other things as people come in. I did forget one thing, but I'll bring that up later. But when we put things up on the page, it's generally like, this person's reached out and this is the information. If you're interested, please contact them. So that way, I'm not texting that to you because obviously it's on the page if you want it, and then we bring it to the meetings as well.
If you do move to like Instagram, you could always have a private account for this stuff, and that's where you post your formal stuff. And then you have a group chat where you could have the happy birthday, or you could have the reminder, like the forum is just up. Something like that. That way it's a little bit out. Or again, when I was mentioning the number, I mean just like a different number for just this committee. That way it's a little bit more interactive. I understand you need the number for the parents and the children and other stuff. There's a lot of groups.
Through the chair for now, I'll put a heading at the top, whether it says volunteer, or something for it, sending the text message. So if you are involved in lots of things, you'll know the topic at the beginning, so I'll try to do that so that you can go, I don't want to know about that today, and move on, or you can easily find it if it's a topic, maybe.
you can search in text messages.
Yeah, you can. Thank you, Lily. But we do have to come up with something else because of the social media ban. You do need something that everyone can access. Instagram may or may not be the way to go.
We can have a think and chat about it at team building in March, I think. I think even like WhatsApp could be really useful because it can be monitored and have different admin. You can just make different chats regarding on different things. But we can talk about that at the future team building.
Sorry, through the chair, I did forget to mention to you we have been contacted by the Electoral Commission. So they are offering to run in any council area information sessions. I'm pretty sure I heard something about that at the council meeting. Cody might know about Gawler running them, but someone will come out and run it independently through the Electoral Commission. So if you are interested, we can look into that, but if you're not, then let me know. But that information has been put up on your page, so I did not text you that because obviously I'm telling you tonight.
Thank you. We're going to move to item 11, which is questions without notice. Do we have any? No. Motions without notice. Do we have any? No. Alrighty, we're going to wrap up the meeting. The meeting closed at 8:40 p.m. on the 2nd of February. We have our team building on the 2nd of March, and our next general meeting will be on the 4th of May, commencing at 6:30.
It was a substantial meeting, I'm not surprised.
Lots of discussion, well done.
Yeah, it's good. And yeah, there was like an hour's discussion at the